Hello and welcome back to Mad Human. It's the show about advertising, marketing, and business in the age of AI, where we boldly explore the edges of tech and culture. And most of all, we help you figure out how to keep it real on this digital frontier. I'm your host, Atanasio Juarez, aka Rezi. And if you don't know me, which is understandable, this is just episode 2 of our show here. But I'm a dyed-in-the-wool optimist about AI and its ability and potential for massively contributing to the advancement of the human race, as long as we keep it human. So for this week, we need to talk about something that's actually kind of giving me the ick, as the kids say. And that's how we're kind of having conversations a lot more frequently about AI and the implications in how it affects our work lives, and jobs in general. That is because really today marks only the 4th day after a CEO from one of the largest companies in the world said the quiet part out loud. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy published a blog post. That's right, a blog post, not a memo or something that leaked. He was upfront about it, at least. That said, literally, they're not looking to transform or enhance their workforce with AI, but reduce it. Before we get into that, a couple of quick messages from our sponsors. I'd like to thank MFG Studios here, our production partners in the Mile High City. If you're looking for full-scale production for your long-form content, or you're in the PR game and looking to book satellite media tours for your clients, MFG Studios is your go-to partner in the greater Denver area. So check them out online at mfgstudios.com. Mad Human is brought to you and supported by our work at Eterna AI, where we build highly customized AI agents and agentic AI integrations for small businesses and enterprise organizations alike. If you are interested in developing AI systems that on average 3x our clients' productivity, efficiency, and top-line revenue without adding any additional workload to your staff or overhead, then visit us at eterna.ai today and book a free readiness audit where we go over the demo and show you how we can assist you in implementing AI into your organization today. Every Friday, I'll hit you with the biggest AI headlines shaking and shaping our world, and we'll do a deep dive or a guest interview on one of them. And then we'll leave you with your Friday high five, 5 things that you can do to implement AI in your business or your personal life over the weekend to start or advance your AI journey. This show drops every Friday, so please be a gem, like, subscribe, and share with your family, friends, and maybe even your boss. All right, let's get into the headlines that caught my eye this week because they're all connected to this bigger story about how AI is reshaping not just what we do, but who gets to do it. And by who, I apparently mean robots now. Headline number 1, NVIDIA and Foxconn want robots to build their robots. So this is happening actually right now, was announced about 5 or 6 hours ago from the time of this recording, that NVIDIA and Foxconn are planning to deploy humanoid robots to help them in their Houston factory build NVIDIA's GB300 AI servers. So starting in Q1 of 2026, robots will literally be building all of the computers that make our robots smarter. And if that's not peak 2025, then I don't know what it is. The robots are being trained to kind of pick and place objects and insert cables, just kind of basic operations, assembly line work that humans have been doing since there have been assembly lines, essentially. And it's kind of come full circle, except now the workers don't need lunch breaks or health insurance. What gives me the ick about this, we're not just automating jobs anymore. We're automating the creation of the technology that automates the jobs. So it's automation all the way down, folks. Here's what I guess, if there is a silver lining that keeps me net bullish on AI in general, it's that this is happening in Houston, right? And creating kind of a new manufacturing hub that couldn't exist anywhere else. So when you can deploy robots this sophisticated and you can bring manufacturing back to places where it makes economic sense, not just where labor is cheapest, I think that's a good thing. On to headline number 2, OpenAI just became a defense contractor. Meanwhile, in OpenAI land, while all this was going on in Houston, OpenAI, the AI for everyone company, just landed a $200 million contract with the Pentagon. They're building AI tools for national security, cybersecurity, and what they're calling this prototype frontier AI. I'm reading off the prompter, obviously, but prototype frontier AI, aka secret DARPA projects involving agentic AI. That's kind of like Terminator 2 scary at this point. Uh, 6 months ago, Sam Altman was talking about democratizing AI, and now he's in meetings talking to Pentagon heads about, not necessarily the all bad, but, kind of like watching an indie band sign with a major label. It's just kind of creepy. And the music might get better in that case or that example, but something has definitely changed. The thing is, when the Pentagon drops $200 million on technology, it's not a bet. That's kind of a statement. So they're not funding experiments anymore. They're buying tools that they plan to use. Questionable in how you feel about what those tools are and what their use case will be. But nonetheless, it's more validity towards people like me that work in this space that AI is becoming more and more infrastructure and less hype. Headline number 3, venture capital in AI is basically a feeding frenzy. Speaking of how much money is being invested in AI, in the previous 2 headlines, NVIDIA participated in 49 AI startup funding rounds in 2024, and that's up from 34 in 2023. So they're trending up and to the right in terms of how they're investing in these startups. And they're not just making these chips anymore, right? They're not building the hardware for the power behind AI and these LLMs, but they're betting on every single company that might be using those chips or might use them in the future. Elon Musk, on the other hand, with xAI, is reportedly seeking another $4.3 billion in funding, which would raise the company's value to $80 billion, which is not bad for a company that's literally, 2 years old. It's younger than some houseplants out there. And look, I get it. When you see the future coming, you want to own a piece of it. But when everyone's trying to own a piece of it at the same time, and everyone wants a piece of that future, you have to wonder if we're building something sustainable or if we're just inflating the world's most expensive bubble. On to headline number 4, AI just keeps stepping on rakes. That's right, there is controversy in the news this week, as there seems to be every week with AI. It's not all venture capital and robot factories and rainbows. This week, we saw AI-generated nudes targeting high school girls in Iowa. We saw OpenAI getting sued by a ton of news agencies for allegedly stealing millions of news articles to power their LLMs and their training model on their models. And Microsoft's AI chatbot gave entrepreneurs advice that would likely land them in jail. That last one is kind of my favorite. Microsoft is currently in a couple of different battles on the AI front, but they did build an AI called My City to help entrepreneurs navigate business regulations. And instead of it telling people to process their 1099s and do their taxes, it actually told them to ignore licensing requirements and violate local laws. So it's kind of like having a GPS that confidently directs you directly into a lake. This is what I mean when I say we need to keep it real on the digital frontier. Basically, when we remove all human levers, we're moving so fast in developing this AI technology that we are losing the reliability in how it responds to our queries and the inferences that we generate as humans. And that brings us to today's deep dive, really, because it's about the difference between what's going on with human work and with work done by machines. And that is going to be all about this memo that changed everything for Amazon and likely how we view CEOs talking about AI as we move forward into this crazy new future. So let's talk about it. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy actually said, because the headlines don't tell the whole story, he actually said that we will need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today and more people doing other types of jobs in the next few years. We expect that this will reduce our total corporate workforce as we get efficiency gains from using AI extensively across the company. Now, before you put on your tinfoil hat and start panicking and sell all your shares and move to Spain, let me tell you why this is actually the most honest and potentially helpful thing that a CEO has said to date about AI and jobs. First things first, he's being very transparent here, right? Most companies are doing this AI workforce transformation quietly or behind closed doors, or calling it structured buyouts for people that aren't enthusiastic about our go-to-market strategy with AI. But Jassy said, yeah, we're basically just going to need fewer people for some of these jobs. And that's refreshingly honest for somebody in that corporate world. Second, He's not saying that AI is going to eliminate jobs entirely. He's saying that it's going to change what jobs look like. Here's another quote from the blog post. These agents are going to change the scope and speed at which we can innovate for customers. We'll be able to focus less on rote work and more on thinking strategically about how to improve customer experiences and invent new ones. And that, I think, is the key phrase here. So, what does this all actually mean for you? If you're not working at Amazon, everything, because Amazon doesn't just employ 1.5 million people, they set the trends that every other company follows. And so, what we're talking about is when Amazon says they're using AI to handle customer service, they're using it for automating daily processes, and every other company is taking notes, then what does that actually say about what you're doing or what you're not doing in your business? When they say AI agents will help employees focus less on rote work and more on strategic thinking, that's not just Amazon's future, that's everyone's future. And here is where I get net bullish about this story. Jassy isn't just talking about replacing humans with AI, he's talking about replacing humans' tasks with AI so that humans can do more human work. Think about it. Amazon has rebuilt their entire customer service chatbot with generative AI, but they're not firing all of those customer service reps or the people that manage them. They're freeing those reps to handle the work that is complex and nuanced and relationship building, that type of work that AI just simply can't do. And they've got AI tools like Alexa Plus, Buy for Me, and Rufus handling the routine stuff. But for someone still, having to design these experiences and monitor those systems, that's a good thing. And to figure out how to make them more human, that's going to be a role as we move forward into this AI-powered future. The skills that matter right now, I think, is, where we kind of get into these jobs that are going away and the jobs that are kind of evolving and involving doing the same things, repetitive tasks over and over again, like data entry, basic customer service scripts, routine analysis, marketing, repetitive content creation. Those jobs are not just going away, they're growing, right? They're changing and evolving. And I think that they're going to still require what I call human intelligence, not just artificial intelligence. So creativity, empathy, strategic thinking, relationship building, like we talked about, the ability to work with AI as a tool rather than compete with it is going to be paramount in the future. What gives me the ick, again, is about how we're talking about this, right? Everyone's focused on the idea of these jobs going away and AI taking their job. And the real question is, how can you partner with AI? How can you use it as a tool that it is to benefit and expand your horizons? Because here's the thing. This is where my experience in building AI agents for businesses comes in. AI is not a good replacement for people. It just isn't. For instance, when we started integrating AI into our systems and using it to handle inbound calls, it's not as good as I am at answering the phone and building a relationship with a potential client, but it's far better than a missed call or a missed opportunity on our end or hitting that voicemail or, for God's sake, spending 3 hours on a dial pad trying to find the right person to talk to, thanks T-Mobile. The Amazon playbook for everybody else, here's what we can look at. 3 things. First, let's be honest about what AI can do and what it can't do. Okay, Amazon isn't pretending that AI is going to just come in and swoop up everybody's job and put them on the streets. They're being strategic about where they can deploy it within their organization. Second, let's focus on amplification, not replacement. They're not using AI to eliminate human judgment or human behavior. They're just using it to give us humans a better information system and to make better decisions. We're going to use it as a partner. Third, invest in your people's ability to work with AI. Amazon is training their workforce to use with these new tools, and they're not just implementing the tools, they're hoping for the best, but they're also putting training behind it and helping people get used to the idea of using AI as a true co-pilot and co-conspirator. And that's what this show is really about. It's not about whether AI is coming. It is. It's a tidal wave. I happen to be in the business of selling surfboards, so I feel comfortable talking about this. And I know that it can be scary. Change often is. But AI is here. And it's about how we adapt and how we stay human and how we use these tools to do the work that actually matters. That's a wrap for our headline segment of the show, and we're going to go right to our Friday High Five. This is where we give you 5 things that you can do to implement AI into your business or your personal life over the weekend to advance or to start your AI journey. We do this in the same format every week: something to watch, something to listen to, something to use as a tool, something to reflect on, and something to share with someone else. First up, watch this. Go and watch Andy Jassy's full announcement about Amazon's AI strategy, not just the headlines. Go and actually look at the video where he explains their approach to the human AI collaboration that's going to be taking place in Amazon. It's a masterclass, really, on how to communicate to a workforce about their own transformation without causing a ton of panic. You're going to learn more about how to change management in 10 minutes than most MBA programs teach in a semester. Next up, listen to this. Find a podcast episode featuring someone who's actually implementing AI into their business strategy, not just a tech CEO, but somebody that's using AI tools in maybe their small business today. I would search for small business AI implementation or AI transformation case study. You need to hear kind of what it is exactly that's going on when someone actually tries using these tools and is currently navigating the transition themselves. For your tool to use this weekend, let's try out ChatGPT or Claude, but not as a search window or something that you're using as a replacement for Google. Let's actually assign a GPT to do a task automation over the weekend for you. The way you do this is you can pick a random task that is repetitive that you do regularly. It could be writing email responses, triaging that email inbox. It could be organizing information, or brainstorming ideas. Just spend 30 minutes with either ChatGPT or Claude to perform that task. And don't try to replace yourself, but just try to amplify what it is that you do repetitively as that task. Reflect on this. You should ask yourself this question if you are interested in AI. If AI can handle 30% of my current tasks, what would I do or want to do with the other 70% of my time? Write that down, write your answer down, and think about it. This isn't job security, right? This isn't what this is about. It's about job satisfaction and what parts of your work actually energize you and motivate you to come in every day and do your best versus what parts are just really filling time and trading hours for dollars. Share this conversation, have an honest conversation with someone that is in your industry about how they may be secretly using AI for tasks in their job. Not the scary, robots are coming to take everyone's job conversation that everyone's having, but have a practical conversation about how we can adapt and use AI to advance our jobs and our work life. Share what you've learned with other people and what you've learned about the Amazon approach from this podcast and headlines of the week, because companies that have teams that figure out how to adopt and implement this technology first, they're going to be the ones that thrive in this new business landscape. In conclusion, here's my final thought for the pod this week. Thank you guys for listening or watching on YouTube. Truly do appreciate you. Amazon's CEO Andy Jassy did something remarkable this week. He was open and transparent and honest about the state of AI and jobs and how it will affect our jobs moving forward. And that's refreshing because we didn't get just that corporate sanitized version. We actually got the truth for once, not the scientific dystopian sci-fi version either, but something that was subtle and nuanced and to the point, human. That's your Friday High Five and your Mad Human episode for the week. Remember, in this wild world and super unknown, stay human, stay mad. I will see you next Friday. Thank you this time for your time. Until next time. Cheers.